umthetho olandelwayo uma ukuthi singeke sizinake noma sizibheke zonke ezinye izimo ezingaba khona.
The answer is yes, it is a general rule.
Yes.
Thank you.
Impendulo ke ukuthi yebo umthetho ojwayelekile wathi yebo.
Now this is the background of what you seem to be avoiding. Mr. Mangena went to Cleveland to actually this firearm that he went to fetch from Cleveland is a firearm that one of his colleagues, Rulofs, worked on earlier. And after he conducted his test, he sealed it in a specific seal bag. And you said immediately after tests are done in a specific firearm, it gets sealed in a seal bag, not so?
That is correct.
Thank you.
When I go to this farm, sikhuluma ngaso sake sahlolwa warrant officer Rulofs. Uthi ke wathi meseqeda ukusihlola lesi spam wasesifaka ke esikhwameni esivalisisekayo.
Now, thank you. Firearm was taken back to where it came from. That is Cleveland police station.
Lesi spam ke sesiphindiselwa la esasithathwe khona eCleveland.
I hear that.
Ngiyakuzwa.
Now there's evidence that was led that firearm was designed for destruction.
Kukhona ubufakazi obulethiwe ukuthi leso spam lesi kwahloswe ukuthi sizoyochithwa noma sizoyodestroy.
But before it could go for destruction, some information emerged that that particular firearm could as well be linked with another sin, which is the case that we're speaking about now.
Kwasekutholakala ukuthi lesi spam lelo kungenzeka ukuthi sake sisetshenziswa nakwenye indawo njengoba sikhona la.
And then Mr. Mangena went there to fetch it.
Hayi ngoba Mngena wayesehamba kuyosilanda.
Upon his receipt of the firearm, it was realized that that seal bag in which Mr. Rulofs sealed that firearm, the seal was broken.
Wasethola ukuthi lesi sibhamu sasesifakwe esikhwameni lesi uRolofs yena ayazi ukuthi isikhwama esivalisisiwe kodwa thola ukuthi sesivulile.
Do you understand the scenario up to that far?
Yes, sesifika la.
Up to this far, I'm following.
Thank you.
Ngiyakulandela.
Thank you, Colonel. Now, there was I think it's Captain Charlie, who was the custodian of those firearms.
Ngicabanga khona uCaptain Jalo uyena owayephethe lezi sibhamu.
Now, his testimony is to the effect that yes, he had to follow certain protocols with regard to the destruction of those firearms and all those instructions that he had to comply with. But pertinently, that firearm, in fact, he said he could not have received a firearm that he should have dealt with, which was not in a sealed bag, or the bag of which, the seal of which was broken, despite the fact that that firearm was designed for destruction.
Uthi yena wengeke samukele isibhamu makuthi ke lesi sikhwama esasikusona lesi sibhamu sasingavalisesekile noma esithi umlomo lesi sikhwama wawusuvulile.
And his evidence further is to the effect that at all material times when this firearm was in his possession, it was sealed. The bag was sealed.
Uthi ngaso sonke isikhathi isikhwama lesi masezandleni zakhe isikhwama lesi sibhamu esasifakwe kusona sasivalisisiwe.
Now, when asked as to how did it then happen that Mangena would come and collect a bag, a firearm that was enclosed in a silk bag that was broken, he said he could not answer that.
Manje ke uma ngena sakwazi angichaza ukuthi yini indaba yena amukele isibhamu esisesikhwameni esingavalisisiwe.
I'm sorry, Mr. Ngogo, it's not Mr. Mangena who could not explain. It is Mr. Muchali. When asked as to why would then Mr. Mangena state that the firearm that he received at Cleveland was packaged in a broken seal.
No, umtshali ke lo obechaza ubephendula ukuthi akazi ukuthi uMangena wayesamukela kanjani isibhamu esisesikhwameni esingavalisisiwe.
But nonetheless, Mr. Mangena took that firearm, took it to the forensic science laboratory and proceeded to conduct his examination.
Nanoma kunjalo ke uMangena wasithatha leso sibhamu wahamba naso eNational Forensic Laboratory wafika wayosihlola.
Forensic Science Laboratory South Africa does not accept, and Mr. Mangena is a senior member of the Forensic Science Laboratory, not so?
Futhi ke National Forensic Laboratory ayizamukeli izinto ezingekho ekwameni ezivalisisiwe. Futhi ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena omunye wabasebenza kule laboratory abasezingeni eliphezulu. Akunjalo?
Do you understand up to that far?
I understand.
Ngiyazwisisa.
In the circumstances which have just been sketched now, yourself being a member of the Forensic Science Laboratory of South Africa, was procedure followed?
njengoba nawe omunye osenza lapha e-National Forensic Laboratory inqubo ilandelwe yini?
My answer cannot be detached completely from what happened at that time.
Yes.
Cha impendulo yami angeke ichezuke kuloko bese kubikini.
Okay, let us categorize your answer. On the phase of it, prima facie, was procedure followed?
Cha sikhulume nje ukuthi ke uma sesibuka kafushane inqubo ilandelwe.
The generic procedure in the SAPS was followed.
Kusho ukuthi ke inqubo ejwayelekile yase siphoyiseni yona ilandelwe.
Why I'm saying so is because the firearm, according to information that has just been supplied to me now, Mangena did not just go to the station, took the firearm and left with it.
Ngoba ke kulolwazi lokho esenginikwe lona uma ngena akazange aya lapha e-police station wafika nje wathatha isibhamu wahamba.
He booked it at the police station.
Ufike ke wabhalisa ukuthi uyasikhipha.
Which means that he completed the SAP 13 or the exhibit register at that particular station.
Kusho ukuthi ke lapho kwagcwalisa SAP 13 noma ke ile register kubhalwa kuyona izinto e-police station.
I can tell you that is not in dispute.
Cha lokho akunampikiswano ngakho.
So I was just explaining regarding the generic police procedure.
Ngisachaza imithetho ejwayelekile isiphoyisa.
Not the forensic procedure, the generic police officer, the procedure actually that empowers a police officer to do certain things.
So sakhuluma nje ngenqubo ke gunyaza iphoyisa ukuthi lenze ngendlela ethize.
No, good, we are together there.
Hayi sisonke la.
So in terms of the police protocol, he is entitled, he is able to book it out.
Njengoba ke iphoyisa unemvume ukuthi angasikhipha ngaleyo ndlela.
We together.
However, I'm going to admit that there was a slight deviation from the normal course.
Ngizovuma ukuthi kuqhubeka kwaba khona ukuchezuka kule nqubo ejwayelekile.
With respect to the ordinary forensic science procedure.
Ukuthi ke le inqubo esetshenziswa ku forensic laboratory yona khona la engalandelwanga khona ngendlela ejwayelekile.
Thank you, sir.
That is why I wanted to refer to Mangena's affidavit.
Yikho ke bengifuna ukuthi ngikhulume ngeaffidavit kaMangena.
No, that's not my duty to request you to refer to Mangena's affidavit. He has been there. The state should have requested him to refer to his affidavit.
Cha kona umsebenzi wami ukuthi ngikuthuma ukuthi hambe uyobuka affidavit kaMangena ube khona la umshushisi bekufanele kuyena othi akabheke affidavit yakhe.
I'm happy with your answer though. Thank you.
But I've already indicated that my answer should not be divorced from the circumstances that existed.
Ngithi ke impendulo yami ayingakhishwa kulezi zimo zazikhona leso sikhathi.
Which circumstances you do not know?
No, I cannot just give
Ukuthi leso zimo nawe awuzazi.
Those circumstances are in the affidavit. Some of them are in the affidavit that I've seen yesterday.
Engeke lesi simo ikhona lapha kule affidavit engiyibone iso.
My question is not based on whether circumstances are in the affidavit or not. I'm on a specific point of procedure. And we have stated very well that it was a deviation from the known procedure. It is documented. It is on record. No matter how much you try to justify what happened there, your word that there was a deviation from normal procedure stands. And I'm going to request you, sir. You know, sometimes they say experts are what they are called hired guns. You see, I perceive your responsibilities as standing there as not being a hired gun. Not so.
Can I please ask you to say all of that in chunks?
Bit by bit. Thank you. I am saying your answer that there was a deviation from the known procedure is already on record.
Impendulo yakho ukuthi ke kube khona ukuchezuka kule nqubo ejwayelekile kuseqoshiwe.
Now, it doesn't matter how much you try to justify what could have happened in this case because you're not privy to the facts of what happened at Cleveland.
Ngeke wena ke awukwazi ukuthi ungasithazela ukuthi usuke kuloko osekubekiwe ngoba ulwazi lwakho alifinyelele ekutheni ukwazi ukuthi kwenzekani eCleveland.
And my final note on that regard was, I hope you are not there. You are not standing there as a hired gun because in certain circumstances, experts would be referred to what is known as them being hired guns. I perceive your responsibility is standing there as a responsibility to try and assist the court.
That's a quick case, my lord. Well, firstly, I think the word hired gun is inappropriate to this witness. It implies something nefarious. This witness is under oath and he's here to assist the court. But secondly, my lord, the witness has given a twofold answer to my learned friends. He said there's a generic procedure in the South African police, and that procedure has been complied with. He then said in the forensic world, perhaps there was a slight deviation, and he wanted to refer to the affidavit of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, but my learned friend seizes that one aspect and doesn't look at the answer of the witness in totality. We submit, my lord, that that's unfair. The witness should be allowed to elaborate on his answer, and my learned friend cannot just seize one aspect of his answer and focus solely on that, my lord. It must be looked to in totality.
Thank you, my lord. Let me quickly respond. The witness is not there to elaborate. He's there to answer my questions. If the state feels the need that there's something that he wants to pursue after my cross-examination, re-examination is still coming.
Are you saying the witness is not allowed to elaborate? This is an aspect.
Understand, my lord. I am giving this response.
His profession and knowledge and proficiency
Yes.
entitles him to elaborate. Now you're saying he mustn't elaborate, he must just come and give evidence like me.
My lord, I am saying, I am responding to what my learned colleague from the state is saying, that the witness must elaborate. I am saying he will only elaborate if I request him to elaborate, as I've did earlier on. But for now, is to give me direct answers. If the state feels that there's a gap that they want to close, subsequent to this cross-examination, by requesting him to elaborate, they can do that through re-examination.
General, in this court, if you are asked a question, you are entitled to answer it in the manner you think you should answer it. If that answer is relevant, Mr. Mnisi will argue later that your answers were irrelevant. But in this court, no witness should be gagged. No witness should be gagged. If he wants to elaborate, let him elaborate. I don't know what he wants to elaborate and say, but you can't stop him to.
My lord, as I'm saying, I'm responding to the state's objection.
Okay,
if the state wants him to elaborate, subsequent to issues that have been raised under cross-examination, they will have re-examination where they will request this witness to elaborate. I can also not be gagged, my lord, in the course of my cross-examination.
No, you're not.
Yes.
Obviously not.
Thank you.
And you know what? The funny thing is, you are telling this witness that there are certain aspects of the evidence which he's not aware of, which is true.
Yes.
But now he says the affidavit of Mangena was brought to his attention yesterday. Now he wants to elaborate on that aspect, as I understand him, because he has said that generically he has responded to the question, but there are a myriad, which he says, a myriad of exceptions or exceptional circumstances which may color his answer. Am I right, sir?
That is correct, my
Or
lord.
I'm just sitting somewhere.
No, that is correct, my lord.
I'm not
And then,
against.
for instance,
Yes.
then he mentioned one, for instance, aspect which falls under the generic of what normally happens. He says bullets which, for instance, are placed in the IBIS center. Some of them come there without being encased in exhibit bags.
No, my lord, I did not ask him about bullets. I've always been referring him to a fact.
No, this is what
firearms.
he's, no, Mr. Me, I listen.
Okay.
This is what he says as an expert. He says one of the deviations is bullets which are stored in the IBIS center. They are brought in there without being in containers or in evidence bags. Are you not saying that, sir?
I was referring to firearms, my lord.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, firearms. Yeah.
Thank you, my lord. But nonetheless, if the state feels that there is something that they want to clear with this witness, it be Mangena's affidavit or what, the state will have an opportunity to make a follow-up on that when they re-examine this witness. The law is very clear.
Okay, let's proceed, please.
Thank you, my lords. Now, I'm a bit, I need to reshape my mind, my lords. I'm going to request the court to bear with me as I try to reshape my mind. Thank you, sir. Now we sort of had exhausted this Cleveland thing, the bullet thing that was fetched from Cleveland in an open seal bag. Now we are in the premises of the South African Forensic Science Laboratory.
Manje samagcekeni National Forensic Laboratory.
Now, is it correct that items that get into the forensic science laboratory, the ballistic section thereof, must get in there following a certain protocol.
manje-ke kukhona yini indlela efanele ilandelwe uma ukuthi kukhona izinto ezifanele zingene lapha in-national forensic laboratory ngisho-ke ziqonde endaweni yokuthi zigcine kwi-section ye-ballistic.
That is correct.
Yebo kunjani?
And that protocol is that each item that gets into the premises of the forensic science laboratory needs to be registered with the administrative section thereof, so that it is known at that particular moment that such an exhibit is now within the premises of the forensic science laboratory, not so.
Kuyiqiniso yini ukuthi izinto ezingena lapha elaboratory zifanele zibhaliswe ne-administration yalapha kwa-national national forensic laboratory ukuze kwaziwe ukuthi leyo mbukiso leyo ikhona lapho ngaphakathi kwe-national forensic laboratory, akunjalo?
That is correct.
Yebo kunjalo?
Thank you. Now let's go back to the Marikana example. Now, Mr. Peters went to Marikana and collected more than 600 firearms.
Ubapiters waya eMarikana ufika walanda izibhamu ezingaphezulu kwamakhulu ayisithupha.
Let's assume more than 600. You might not know the number, but I can tell you it was more than 600.
Nanoma singayazike ukuthi lezibhamu zazingana kodwa ke asithathe ngokuthi zazingaphezulu kwamakhulu ayisithupha.
But the protocol is, upon his arrival at the forensic science laboratory, he had those firearms registered in terms of the normal protocol, not so.
Kodwa ke mase fika lapha e-national forensic laboratory wafika wazibhalisa lezo zibhamu ngokulandela inqubo ye-laboratory.
That is correct.
Thank you.
But he does not register them one by one.
Kodwa ke ekuzibhaliseni akangazibhalisi ngasinye.
Thank you. But the primary and what do they call it now? The main issue is that upon his arrival there, he registered those exhibits. No?
Kodwa ngithanda ukuthi wathi umefika lapha wafika waziregister lezibhamu.
I agree.
Thank you.
Vumelana na?
Why is it so that they should be registered?
Yini ke sifanele ziregister ke lezibhamu?
So that we could be able to track the movement of evidence through the system.
Ukuze ukwazi ukulandelela ukuthi ke ama-exhibit lawa ahamba ayephi ngaphansi kwesandla sethu.
Thank you. So that the personnel, that is the guys that are working at the forensic science laboratory, are able to track the movement of those exhibits. Thank you. On that note, I'm going to request the court that we have a short adjournment. I can feel that my throat is getting a little bit dry, so it's going to spoil the occasion, and I don't want it to happen. Thank you, madam.
It's 11:12. 12 minutes after 11.
All right.